Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Hi. So it seems impossible that almost 2 years have passed since October 7th, 2023. For many of us, I think it feels like it's still October 7th, that we're somehow frozen in place, shocked, aghast, and our hostages are not yet home, and our hearts still lay in tatters. So, what would we do this year to mark the date? Who would we invite to share strength and commitment and hope for all of us? Because heaven knows we need it. So, our choice actually was an obvious one. Boca Raton native Montana Tucker was 8 years old when she started modeling. She appeared in music videos and television shows, including one I've seen 10,000 times, Barney and Friends. And then at 11, she won the World Hip Hop Dance Championship at 11. Then by 14, she had her first public performance at the Super Bowl pregame. And last year, my friends, she had over 9 million followers on TikTok and over 3 million followers on Instagram. So I ask you, how did this beautiful, creative, talented artist end up being the face of pro-Israel advocacy post October 7th? Well, let me give you a little background. In June of 2022, Montana visited Auschwitz with her mother to honor her family's legacy, as both her grandparents are Holocaust survivors. And she documented her experiences in a TikTok series that she called How to Never Forget. And the series, viewed over 7 million times, was later adapted into a documentary. And it was aimed at engaging younger audiences. Well, since October 7th, 2023, Montana Tucker has actively joined efforts advocating for Israel and speaking out against anti-Semitism and hate. And now this. She has produced The Children of October 7th, in which she's interviewed 7 of the youngest victims of the Hamas-led attack on Israel. Now, this documentary was picked up by Paramount Plus, and it premiered this year, and then it aired on MTV. But tonight, my friends, we get to speak to her, and we get to be inspired and activated by her presence. We can learn about the impact on the children through her empathetic and committed eyes. This woman actually makes the hashtag "We Will Dance Again" literally come to life. And to all of us listening right now, you might remind yourself, I know I am, that every single decision, every pivot that you make in your life can lead you to greatness, true greatness. Welcome, Montana. What an honor and a
Hi.
hello, beautiful. What a pleasure. First of all, before we even start, I want to thank you on behalf of all of us on here, and there are hundreds of us. Thank you, really, for your service, for your talent, for your commitment, for everything you have done. You have put yourself out there for us on behalf of all of us, and I'm sure that was not without risk. But I want to start the interview this way, if I can. What made you decide to focus on the children? What was it that about their resilience, about their attitude, that you learned from them, and that we can learn from them?
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for all of your kind words and everything that you do. You are amazing. And also, thank you to everyone that is joining us from all around the world. By you joining us here today, you are also doing your part. You know, people always thank me for everything that I do, but we have to thank all of you, because by you joining this, that means you are passionate about this as well. And you are trying to do everything that you can. So thank you all, and for supporting Momentum, such an incredible organization. For me, children has, like, they have always been some, like, a generation and an audience that I've always tried to attract way before my advocacy for my dancing videos. If you look through my social media, you will see that I do a lot of videos with children. I've always had a special connection to them, and I just love children so much. And when I got approached to do this documentary at first, The Children of October 7th, the producers reached out to my mother, who's my manager, and they said, how much does Montana charge, or how much will she charge for this? And my mom and I said, absolutely nothing.
You
Absolutely
did that
nothing.
for
This
you
is
did
so
that for
important.
free. Oh my goodness.
Yes, of
Oh,
course, of course. Not even a question. And I was really passionate about it. But of course, this is dealing with children in a way different way than I've ever dealt with them. Again, I deal with children. We're happy, it's fun, it's dancing. And this was something that was very, very serious. And, nothing could have really prepped me for the experiences with these children of filming. I heard all about their backstory. The production company, Castina Communications, did such an incredible job really doing the research on these children. Some of these kids, they were comfortable with me being interviewed by me because they followed me on TikTok and knew me from my dance videos. So that's kind of why they were more excited about doing the interview, which some of them didn't even have interviews before my documentary. And it was very difficult. These children have gone through the unimaginable. No child should ever go through what these children went through. And I wanted to break down during every single interview, but I would look at these kids in the eyes and see how passionate they were and also how strong and resilient they were. And so they kept me going. And the documentary, it's made a huge impact already, and especially with the younger generation, because they're hearing from kids their age.
Yes, is it okay if we show a little clip right now? I think it would be
Oh,
helpful.
please. Absolutely.
Let's cue that up and let's watch a bit. That would be great.
I actually saw her dying, like getting shot. My mom and dad saw that there is terrorists going around the kibbutz. My dad started to hold tight the door. Me and my sister, we were under my bed. We hugged each other, and then she got up and helped my dad. If I didn't let her go, she would still be alive. They were like, open the door, we will shoot. And we didn't open the door. I saw her falling to the ground and starting to bleed from her neck. And then we finally opened the door. And they took us to the kitchen and started a live in Facebook.
Sit down, sit down, sit down.
My sister died. I tried to ask them some things like, why would you do that? And they told me to shut up. They told my dad to get up. They said, we're taking you. I just screamed, no, please don't take him. And they said, if you move, you die.
רוצה להגיד משהו לאבא? רוצה להגיד לאבא? ושאבא יחזור, כי הם הבטיחו לה שהוא יחזור. את מבינה? ואבא יחזור בריא ושלם כמו שהוא יצא. אנחנו נעשה הכל כדי שהם יחזרו, כולם, כל מי שמוחזק שם יוחזר.
I've seen that clip hundreds of times, and every single time you just think, how could this have happened? And how does the entire world not get it? So just something really quickly about this girl Yael that you saw in the clip there. I'm not sure if everybody watching could read the text that it said on the bottom, but when we filmed this documentary, and if you watch the full-length documentary, you'll get to see and listen to way more of her story and her family's story. But there was hope, there were signs of life of her father. So when we filmed the documentary, we all thought that the father was going to be released and there were signs of life. And I think it was 2 weeks after finishing filming, he was murdered in captivity. And when the documentary came out, so Paramount Plus, when we originally made the documentary, we made it, everyone thought, okay, just Montana will put it up on her social media and it's gonna do great. And I said, no, this needs to get to a streamer. I didn't stop fighting until we got it to a streamer, which I'm so grateful Paramount Plus picked it up. And then, of course, when Paramount Plus picks it up, they pay money for the documentary. And all of the proceeds that I received for the documentary, because they had to pay for it, went directly to the children. So literally, I didn't get one dime, and it went directly to the children. We had everything. We verified it with their families, whether if they have their parents still or their guardians. And we brought in Yael to the premieres in LA and New York. We flew her down with her aunt. And on the day of the LA premiere, it was her father's birthday.
Oh, God.
And it was so chilling, and she's so strong and so brave and so incredible. So everything just makes this documentary, and every time I see these clips, even more impactful.
Tell me, how old is Yael?
She's now 13, I believe.
I'm going to tell you something that struck me. Maybe I'm the only person. But when I watched that clip the first time, I noticed two little girls, the one in the kitchen and the one on the stage seemed like one. And then the little girl with her nails done, those long blue nails, sort of teetering in that age, prepubescent, just about to become a young woman, that innocent face, those nails, that age. I mean, surely you remember that age. You might have been on Barney at the time, but I'm telling you, there is, do you ever forget the hell that is that kind of adolescence? And yet,
I mean, all of these kids, they're all ages 11 to 17 when this happened. So they're all at the prime age of they're going to remember this for the rest of their lives, and it's going to affect them for the rest of their lives.
so did they understand when they were making this documentary that they were not some kind of survival porn, you know, that they were actually standing in testimony as witnesses to a world that is clearly blind and stupid? Did they, or do they, at any point, did they know what was going on outside of Israel in the world? Did they know about the protests? Did they know about how the narrative had shifted?
You know, one of the boys that I interviewed, his name is Rotem, and he lost both of his parents. He witnessed Hamas murder both of his parents right in front of him. He also was shot by Hamas. And a little quick brief on him. But again, you'll see the whole thing in the documentary. Hamas infiltrated his house and in his kibbutzim, and Hamas, his mother actually protected him, guarded him, and Hamas threw a grenade onto the mother. She died right on top of Rotem. His father died right in front of him. And then he laid under his mother's body for an hour and played dead so that Hamas would think he was dead. Why I bring him up specifically is because when we were doing all this, his uncle, who's now his guardian, because he lost both his parents, said, you know, Montana, because I kept referring to them as like, they're sharing their stories. And the uncle actually said, no, Montana, they are sharing their testimonies. And there are very, very different words, testimony versus a story, because we think of the Shoah Foundation, right? And those are my grandparents are both Holocaust survivors, and their testimonies are in the Shoah Foundation. The difference is the Shoah Foundation came out years and years and years and years and years after the Holocaust, when the survivors were all much, much older. These testimonies are coming out I think this might be one of the first times, I'm not sure if it is the first time in history, but one of the first times that these testimonies are coming out in real time while this is still going on, while there are still children, you know, they are you know, happened on October 7th was the deadliest day of Jews since the Holocaust. So the only other thing we can compare it to is the Shoah Foundation, right? Of testimonies from these survivors. But these are young survivors that are happening in real time, and they all are on social media. So yes, they are very aware. They're all at the age of where they are fully on TikTok, they are fully on social media. And that's why I think it was even more important to them. They wanted their testimonies out there. They didn't just do this because they were forced to. Like this was a choice that they made. This was a full choice that they made, and they wanted it out there.
That clip that you showed, was that being live streamed on Facebook when that was happening to that family?
Yes. So that was literally Hamas took Yael's mother's cell phone and started a live stream on her Facebook for her friends, her family, and the entire world to see. There was other footage that was shown on there that was way too graphic, and the mother requested that it not be shown in our documentary. But you can imagine, because you know how terrible that footage is, just imagine how much worse it could have gotten. I mean, they showed Matan, Yael's sister, getting, like, you saw her body on the Facebook Live. It's so interesting to me because I'm the grandchild of Holocaust survivors. You think back to the Holocaust and you think that, you know, Hitler and the Nazis, they tried to hide what they were doing, right? They purposely would show these propaganda videos of the camps and just make the world believe that this wasn't happening. But the difference is Hamas purposely tries to show you what they are doing. They live streamed everything from that day. It states in their charter exactly what they want, what they wanted and what they want. There's no hidden agenda here. It's very, very clear what they wanted and what they want, yet still people deny it. And I always wondered how there was Holocaust denial, and now I see why.
There was a quote recently, and I can't remember who said it, and even if I could remember, I don't want to even mention his name, basically saying we succeeded because the world is now against Israel. That kind of upside downness of it all. It's practically biblical, Montana. I don't know what your Jewish history is like, but the fact is, you know, at the Passover Seder, we say in every generation, they rise up against us. And if you look back through history, this sort of devastation is ubiquitous. But I believe that our generation, yours and mine, I shouldn't say yours and mine, but, you know, yours and mine and your mom's, we're of the delusion that somehow it had skipped a generation, that we wouldn't see it. Which is why I want to ask you this next question. It takes a lot of guts when you're in the entertainment industry, and there is inevitably a great deal of pushback. When a woman such as yourself steps outside of being exclusively entertainment and steps into advocacy, please tell me a little bit about the pushback. Did you lose followers? Have you had hate mail? What are you experiencing there?
Oh man, how much time do we have? No, I'm kidding. You know, it's so interesting, and I'm so happy. I'm so thankful that you said advocacy instead of politics, because so many people think will try to say what I'm doing is political, and I don't believe it's political at all whatsoever. I actually, like, purposely try to stay away from politics. If you notice, I have never commented on any political leader, whether in Israel or the US. Like, that is just, I actually stay away from that. I am for humanity and for the people, and that's how I've always been. And
well,
everything I do,
I'll give you a little expression at Momentum. We say that we like to focus on what unites us, not what divides us. But what you're focusing on is truth and
is truth and humanity and unity. That's a really big thing for me. So if you even look at my content, let's say before October 7th, I have done videos with people of all races, all religions, all walks of life. I've always tried to unite people through music and dance.
I've seen that
before. And now, since October 7th, it has been very, very important to me to get outside of our echo chamber, right? My following before October 7th, yes, I did my Holocaust educational series, How to Never Forget, but my following actually was predominantly not Jewish. And my following was from all around the world, and primarily Gen Z, specifically before October 7th. Now it's so special because I'm so grateful for it, that parents are actually watching my content with their children, and they're kind of sharing it amongst each other because it's something that they can relate on. Because, you know, kids can feel they can watch my content and it's not, like, maybe in their words, like, nerdy. And then parents know that they can feel confident with their kids watching my content. I don't put curse words on my page. I try to really make sure that my content is and that's just who I am in general. But when it comes to my advocacy, it was so shocking because, yes, I made my Holocaust series way before October 7th, and I got a lot of hate during that, saying, "Oh, you're a Jew, of course you're making everything about yourself," or, you know, we had the Holocaust never happened, or your grandparents should have died. We're not going to stop until you do. And I say that so casually now because what I get now is so much worse, which I shouldn't deem that as casual, because those comments are terrible and no one should ever receive them. But it wasn't until October 7th. And for me, it wasn't even a thought, like, should I do this? Should I not do this? It was, I have to do this. There's no other option. My grandparents, they would speak at all the schools down in South Florida where I'm from about the Holocaust. My Zadie specifically would wear pins that said, "Never forget, never again, survivor." He would talk to anybody that he met about the Holocaust and about what happened to him to make sure that this would never happen again. And I know for a fact if social media was around back then, you better believe my grandparents would have posted and done, whether they had one follower or a million followers, they would have posted every single day and done everything that they could. So for me, it wasn't even a question. I had to do it. And that's why I immediately wanted to go to Israel right away. My strict Jewish mother would not let me go to Israel right away until December of 23. And that was my first trip post October 7th. And now I've been back 7 times. The hate I have received is so beyond shocking to me. In the very beginning, I lost hundreds of thousands of followers.
Hundreds of thousands. What, on
Hundreds of
Instagram
thousands.
or TikTok or both?
Instagram, TikTok, mostly Instagram and TikTok, but other platforms. I mean, I also have Snapchat and YouTube and all the things. So that's why I total it's 14 million followers across platforms. But it was just so shocking. And then people that I've danced with and I've collaborated with for years who know me and know my character just simply couldn't because of like they wrote me messages saying, "We can't work with you anymore because of your support for Israel." No, not justifying anything. None of them have any ties to the Middle East. None of them have ever been to Israel. None of them, there's nothing in it besides they know it's not popular and all they care about is being popular.
Listen, I'm going to stop you for a minute. Can I add, is it okay if I tell the viewers that they're welcome to write in questions to you? We'll have a Q&A
Of
in a
course.
little bit.
Of
Okay,
course.
everyone,
Absolutely.
please feel free, write in the chat, and hopefully I will see it. And if not, our producer will forward a message to me, and then we'll have some time to do that. So Montana, I'm just going to deepen that first question a little bit further. There is a very popular misogyny, and that is that somehow beautiful, talented women in the entertainment industry are not inclined to go towards the fire, but then they never met you. How much pushback did you get from your handlers, your managers, the people who deal with your publicity? I mean, I understand that you're going to get pushback from your audience for sure, because, that's just the useful idiots. But what about from your management?
Well, luckily my management is my mother. So we are very lucky in that realm. So my manager is my mother, has always been my mother. She's managed me since birth, literally. So I'm very grateful for that. But when it comes to people that I've worked with and collaborated with, and literally people that I have danced with for years, for them to just flat out say, "I can't dance with you anymore." The people that have unfollowed me, I've even had people post online that I've worked with about calling me a baby killer, I support genocide, et cetera, et cetera. A big moment was when I went to the Grammys, which I think you showed that I don't know if you ended up showing that photo earlier, but I wore this dress at the Grammys. I think
we showed it. Hold on a second.
Yes,
let me ask our producers, did we show the Grammy dress? If we did, yeah? If we didn't, we'll put it up in a bit. Okay. I think you might have.
So at the Grammys, I was in, there have been all these WhatsApp groups. I'm sure many of you on here are a part of many WhatsApp groups since October 7th of just us all trying to do what we can and come together. And I was in these WhatsApp groups for in the entertainment industry. And there was a previous award show, maybe it was the Emmys, I'm not sure, before the Grammys. And we were trying to get people to wear the yellow pins, the yellow pin, simple yellow pin, shouldn't be that difficult. And no one would wear it. Like maybe 2 people wore it, and it wasn't it wasn't seen. And so I got asked to go to the Grammys and walk the red carpet and do the whole thing. And as an artist, that's, to be asked to go to the Grammys, it's the biggest thing. And I was so excited. And I knew that I had to do something that would make sure no one can miss my message. And I felt that a small yellow pin wasn't enough for me personally. So I contacted an Israeli designer that is here in Los Angeles, and I gave her 1 week to do it. So at the time, she wasn't very happy with me as a designer. I gave her 1 week to create this dress with me. But we created this dress, and I wanted it to simply be about the yellow ribbon. That's it. I wanted it to be about nothing else, just the focus on this yellow ribbon. So we came together and did this. And by the way, I have already been to Israel since October 7th one time before. I've now built relationships with the hostage families. I've like, that has been the forefront about everything that I do, is speaking for the hostages and their families. And so yeah, we came up with this dress and I got to the Grammys. I never get nervous. I've spoken in front of like 300,000 people. Like, I never get nervous. But in that moment, you know, I took my jacket off and I was there on the carpet and I was like, this is happening. And I was getting the craziest looks and everyone's screaming my name. And red carpets already are very kind of uh, stressful to begin with. But it was crazy. And usually I post like me getting ready or, you know, getting my hair and makeup done. I didn't post anything. And right after I finished the carpet, the handler came up to me and you could tell she was like scurrying and she was like, okay, did you like take all your pictures and videos? And I was like, oh no, I just got here. You have my phone. And she said, well, comms called and they're very disappointed. And they said your dress is too political and that we don't do politics here at the Grammys.
Oh,
And I
really?
said, that's interesting. I go, this is actually not political at all. Are you aware of what this ribbon stands for? And you could tell she was just doing her job. Someone obviously told her. She was like a younger girl. And she's like, well, is it possible for you to remove the ribbon? And I was like, no. And even if it was possible, absolutely not. And so she said, you could go back out there, but the Recording Academy, we can't share anything that you post or anything like that. And then I was so upset. 2 minutes later, the entire head of the Recording Academy, Harvey Mason Jr., who is incredible, came up to me and said, wow, I love your dress. Thank you for wearing that. Let's take a
Oh,
photo. And then he ended up
oh,
giving a whole tribute to Palestinian and Israeli artists. But moral of that story is it came with so much hate. Obviously, online I was being attacked, but the support and love that I received, first and foremost, from the hostage families that messaged me after saying, thank you so much for doing this. Finally, we feel seen outside of our echo chamber. Like, you know, like people are speaking for us. I had little girls who ended up making their own bring them home costumes for Purim. And they dressed like me for Purim, which never in a million years I would have ever thought that. And also, you know, so many Jews since October 7th, and I'm sure many of you on here even, you know, people have been scared to wear their Magen Davids, or they don't want people to know they're Jewish, or they're scared. For me personally, because I get these comments, yes, we have our matching necklaces. I get these comments all the time. Oh, you're Jewish? You don't look Jewish. Or
yeah.
Montana Tucker, that's not a very Jewish sounding name, which I get offended by both of those comments, because what does being Jewish look like and what does being Jewish sound like? It
Sure.
looks like so many different beautiful ways and it sounds like so many different beautiful ways. And so now, post October 7th, at all times, you better believe there is not going to be a question of who I am and what I represent. And I've been so grateful for that, because that has also inspired a lot of young girls and just young people in general that are feeling so alone and scared, to be proud of who they are and proud of where they come from.
You
So
are such a spectacular woman, inside and out. There are so many questions. I'm going to ask you a few of them, if I may. Where will
of
I
course,
begin? There's so many people love you. It's just blown up.
I love you all. Thank you for
Oh,
tuning in.
okay, so here, let's see. Oh my gosh, they're all extraordinary. I have to scroll up a bit because I just I can't decide. They're all so great. All right, Kara Lavender.
I'll try to keep my answers short so we can answer a
Okay,
few of them.
let's run through them. Kara asks, I'd like to know if Montana has had anyone in her life who was or is anti-Israel change their minds about what happened on October 7th and on Israeli and Palestinian relations.
Absolutely. I think that is such an important question. Thank you for asking that, because we always talk about the negatives, which is important to talk about them, because there have been a lot of negatives. But that's why I make the content that I make. And that is why I do what I do, because I do believe change is possible. Some people might think that I'm crazy, but I believe conversation and dialogue and really hearing each other is so important. And that's why I do these videos in public all the time. If you see, you'll see I'll do videos with a Palestinian man from Gaza that grew up in Gaza till he was 17, and he's very anti-Hamas. And him and I did this very powerful video in public in Washington Square Park in New York. And the dialogue that we had, you know, we edit these videos together sometimes for like a 3 to 5 minute video, but we're sometimes there for 3 hours
Oh,
speaking to
sure.
people and having conversations. And trust me, there are people, some people are just crazy, right? But there have been people that come up to us and are just very against what we're doing. point blank, very against us. And then we end up having conversations. And by the end of the conversation, they leave with a whole different perspective, and they thank us, and we end in a hug, and they say, I'm going to go home and do more research. I did a video with this amazing activist. If you guys don't follow him, Loai Al-Sharif, he's an Arab Muslim peace activist from Abu Dhabi. Loai Al-Sharif, he's incredible. And him and I did this video together, and a group of young, like Muslim, I would say college students came up to us, and they were like they were not feeling what we were doing at all at first. They weren't aggressive or anything. They just were like not agreeing with anything. And by the end of the conversation, they felt so educated, and they're like, we didn't know any of this. Thank you so much. We all ended in a hug. They are going to do their research now. It was like 5 of them, and you could tell they left completely changed. So, I've had plenty of friends who I've also had conversations with that finally like, you know what? You have a point there. I understand now. Thank you. So yes, if I could say anything, please have conversations with people. I know it seems like so scary sometimes, or you feel like someone's so far gone, but you never know the impact you can make. And I always talk about the ripple effect, that you never know what's going to happen from that one conversation you have with somebody, or you never know, even if you don't have to have the millions of followers, you never know by sharing my post or somebody else's post that shares something important. You never know who's going to see that from your life, and whose mind's going to be opened.
Oh, magnificent. Okay, here's another one. I love your content. Do you have any advice for the younger generation for advocating for Israel?
Yes, I think our younger generation, they are the most important, the most important. You know, we look at the college campuses right now, and you know, it's insane. You can't even believe that Ivy League schools, which I know my mother, who's on watching somewhere, would always dreamed of me going to an Ivy League school. The fact that this is what's happening on our college campuses, and how Jewish students are being treated there. I think it's important to even go younger. I think we need to focus even more on our middle schoolers and our high schoolers, because they actually have the power to change this. Like, I think with the colleges, of course, we're not giving up on them, but some of them are just so beyond far gone that it's like, we're not going to give up, but some of them are just so far gone. But I think our middle schoolers and our high schoolers, they're going to be the next generation of leaders who are really going to make that difference and that change. And, you know, I speak at so many events with our younger generation. I'm just so proud of them to have these kids come up to me and they're like, I started a club in my school, or I started this Instagram page, and they're posting and they're doing, and like, it's so inspiring to me. Like, they keep me going. So I think for advice is just like, we're so lucky that we have social media. I know it gets such a bad reputation, and it could be a very scary place, but how lucky are we that we're able to have access to millions of people around the world? How lucky are we that we are able to post a video online, and that video can get to someone across the world who's never even met a Jewish person before, you know? So you don't realize the impact that you can make. And with apps like TikTok, your video, you don't have to have the millions of followers. Your video you could wake up the next day and have 1 million views. You know, that's how social media works. So posting is so important, having conversations in their schools, starting clubs, making sure they feel like they have a community. I think that's also something so important. These students feel really alone, especially if they're not going to a Jewish school. They might feel alone. So I think them finding a community and clubs that they feel like they're not alone in this fight. And also making sure they're proud of who they are, making sure they're proud. We need to make sure that they never stop being proud.
You know, Lisa Wallace here just wrote in, the way that you approach, oh boy, now it just jumped because everybody's writing. The way you approach a conversation is so important. What are the keys to your success with this? The way you approach them?
That is a really important question, because listen, we need all the voices we can get, but I have seen some advocates online that are just really aggressive in their tone. And I get it. We're all upset and we're angry, and you see these things and you want to just go crazy on people. I just personally have never, ever led with aggression or anger in anything. I literally get death threats every single day, and I have never once responded to those. On everything I post, I get hate, trust me. And I never respond. How I respond is I keep sharing, and I keep posting, and I keep educating. And I have always found that with all the combativeness that I receive when I lead with love and light. And that's why, again, my whole thing is about bringing people together. I don't care who you are. And again, some people might think I'm crazy that I'm too like, oh, I believe in world peace, but I really do. And I really believe it is possible. I just think, again, we have to like, think about this. If somebody's just separate from Israel, if someone's just yelling at you all the time, you're not going to want to listen to them. You're just not going to want to listen to them. It doesn't matter what they're saying. You're not going to want to listen to them. But so that's just for me personally what I have found works the best. And also what I find works the best is personalizing everything and humanizing everything. I think this war and this conflict has gotten just so out of control that we're forgetting that this happened to like human beings. And that's why I've always interviewed as many people as I can from all walks of life and all sides, like all Nova survivors and
This
kibbutzim
reminds
survivors,
me,
etc.
listen, this reminds me, somebody, I think it was, let me see, I believe it was Moran, said, thank you for taking us inside Gaza this month. What's one thing you would want people to know as someone who's been in there?
Sorry, that someone's been in Gaza.
That you went into Gaza.
Yes, I
Yes.
did go into Gaza. So I went into Gaza with the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. They're an American-run foundation. And why I did that is because I was just so sick of everybody constantly saying that Israel is not allowing the aid, that they're, the media is showing these photos and images of these children that are we've all seen the images, and they're saying that Israel's preventing aid. So I'm really grateful that I had the opportunity to do this, because it wasn't, and again, it wasn't an easy thing to do. And again, my neurotic Jewish mother was not wanting me to do it, and I said, well, I'm doing it. If you want to come, you can come. If not, you can wait at the border. I'm doing it. And it was terrifying. I mean, they had to brief us the whole time. Like, if this happens, you have to go here. We're driving in a bulletproof vehicle all through Rafah. Like, we weren't just at the border; we were fully inside Rafah, and it was crazy. I have to say, again, being the grandchild of Holocaust survivors, we saw at this site 10,000 different people entering that site that day. And not one of them looked like those images that they show online. And not one of them looked like Avatar David, the hostage that is held captive still, that looks like a Holocaust survivor. I interviewed many people there. They all blamed Hamas for everything. And
Really?
they all blamed Hamas for everything. And you can watch these clips. I see some people asking that these clips are on my Instagram and my TikTok account that you can watch. I have 3 different videos from that. We're going to be making probably a full length too. But it was really important for me to show my followers, this is what's happening. These are people on the ground. This is what they are saying. This aid site is open every single day. They're able to get enough, like the aid is endless. The amount of aid there was endless, and it was completely fine of what was going on there. And so that was really, really important for me to show. I'm sorry, the last thing I have to say is, this aid site, there's no way to determine who is Hamas or not. So they just let everybody in, and you take that risk of somebody might be Hamas. And if you see, I was actually with the women, hugging the women. They had their hijabs on, couldn't tell who was under there. And 1 week after I was there, the exact site that I was at, Hamas planned to infiltrate, and they were dressing up as women with their hijabs on. And at the women's aid distribution, literally 1 week after I was there, but the humanitarian fund got notice that this was going to happen, and they shut it down. But imagine if I was there when that happened, 1 week after.
You know what? I think the Almighty has tremendous plans for you, Montana Tucker. I don't think you get to be the whole package like you, the physical beauty, the intellect, the articulation, your compassion, and the fact that you lead with love, all of those things, and the extraordinary talent. I think that God has huge plans for you, and I think that you are living up to your potential. And I think you will be not just safe, but you will just continue to go from strength to strength. Somebody just wrote in,
Thank
first,
you.
say thank you for all you do and the content you share. What has been the most challenging situation for you the past 2 years, and what's been the most rewarding?
Oh, well, thank you all so much, and thank you, Adrienne. You're the best. I told you, whenever I'm feeling down, I'm gonna call you because you're just the best. Thank you. There have been so many challenging things. I think I don't know if I've actually ever like fully maybe shared this, and I don't know if this is the most challenging, but I'm such an empath. So I think what's been hard for me with all of this is like I feel it so much every day. And like even after I went into Gaza, like I came back and I was like I was crying and I was just really just filled with so many emotions. And then like I just came back and I went to LA and I like took my Pilates class and I just felt like, how do I do this? How do I do this? You know, it's very hard for me to shut it off. Um, because I feel like this is 24/7 for me, even when it's not. And even like I went to a friend's birthday like a day after, and like all I could think about is what I just witnessed and experienced there. And it was hard for me to even like have a normal conversation with my friends, because that's all I could think about. And still every day, all I could think about is the hostages. And especially now that I've built so many relationships with the released hostages, the rescued hostages, the families. It's like these people are my family and they don't even realize it, you know? And so I think that's been probably the hardest thing in the past 2 years is like finding a way to just shut it off, because I feel like even when it looks like I'm not. Um, and I just feel like I'm like, what else can I do? I just always feel like I need to be doing more. Like, even though I know I've done a lot, I just always constantly feel like, what else can I do? What else can I create? Obviously, I can't be the one to stop this war and release the hostages. So what else can I do to try to help? Um, so that's been the hardest thing. But the best thing is seeing these hostages get released, and meeting these people that I've fought for so long, to then see them in real life and see them with their families. I mean, every hostage release that like every, you know, we've all seen all the videos and images from the hostages being released. The tears that have come down my face, and I'm sure all of us have seen, we all feel it, right? We all feel like these are our family. And I think that's why obviously all of you joined here today. We're all in this together. And I think that's something that we have to remember, no matter how hard this gets for all of us. We are in this together. We have people clearly around the world who feel the same way that we feel, and we're not alone. No matter how alone we feel, we're never alone. And that's been the best for me to know that I've spoken all around the world now, to know I have family and a community everywhere.
So listen, my love, I mean, and to all of our extraordinary viewers, I want to say something now about what Momentum is doing, because there's already an army of almost 25,000 women who, you know, while they may not have the same platform as you in their own way, have stepped up after October 7th. And I'm so proud to know and love so many of them. But I have an important piece of information, and please listen carefully, because tomorrow we begin our annual Momentum 2 days of crowdfunding. We call it Rise, the power of the Jewish mother, the Jewish woman in action. And Jewish mothers have always been a steady force behind strong families and resilient communities. And now they're stepping forward with unprecedented strength. There's visibility, there's purpose, just like you, Montana, are doing, and it's rooted in Jewish values. Listen, your grandparents, the nachas they must feel from you. There's a deep sense of responsibility. We all feel it. And Momentum Mothers, we are now taking action where it's needed most. And for 36 hours, every single cent that you donate is doubled by our gracious matchers. That means if you give 18,
Wow.
it becomes 36, 36 becomes 72, 1,000 becomes 2,000. Give me 1,000,000, it becomes 2,000,000. Over 24,000 people have experienced our magic on our trips to Israel, and hundreds of thousands more from our booths, our podcasts, our online offerings, the Yom app, our resources, my podcast. Please, please, let's make sure that no Jewish mother is left behind.
Amen.
I just really help us continue to bring the Jewish world to life for you, and to continue bringing you women like Montana Tucker and the children of October 7th, and help us reach our goal tomorrow. even though it goes live tomorrow, I think we'll put the link in the chat right now and see if we can jump the.
Please, everyone, please. I mean, I know there's so many organizations, but Momentum, I've been a huge fan of Momentum for a long time. This isn't my first thing that I've done with you guys, and you do such incredible necessary work. So everyone on here, please, like you said, even if it's 18, doesn't matter what it is, if you have anything to give, please do.
You're very kind, Montana, and really on behalf of the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of us who registered for tonight and the millions around the world who are just watching you in awe. May God bless you and watch over you and keep you safe and shine his face towards you and show you favor, because you are a gift. And I want to thank you. I bless you with everything that you want.
Thank you.
And I just have to say, I'd love to have you for a daughter-in-law.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Good night, everybody. Thank you so much. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Stand up and be counted. We love you. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry I couldn't get to all the questions. Montana, be safe.
Love you all. Please donate. Please donate to Momentum. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Love you. Thank you, everybody. Good night, everyone.